I am absolutely terrified about this interview. I'm going to be asked a lot of questions I'm slightly uncomfortable to answer.
Cheryl Cole right now is probably the most talked about woman in Britain.
I think it's just about time that I draw a line under all the speculation and the rumours and give myself my own voice back.
I want to know the truth about the malaria, and I also want to know the truth about her breakup and divorce from Ashley Cole.
Just want to get it off my chest and move on.
How are you feeling?
Terrified.
Why?
This stuff I have never spoke about.
It's been a weird couple of weeks for you, hasn't it? You've had this sort of barrage of stuff that's come after a really difficult year for you. Has it been hard for you to suddenly find the headlines so negative?
Maybe sometimes it becomes a problem for me, especially over the last couple of years. I've stopped reading everything because I can't cope with it. So it's easier for me to be oblivious to that so I can deal with it. So I'm not sure of all the bad stuff. I know what's going on, obviously. And I have experienced negative press before, and it's horrible.
What kind of reaction did you think you'd get tonight from the audience?
Do you know what? I've had some... You wouldn't believe the support I've had from the public. It's like... It's overwhelming. And it makes me strong.
The thing about being on the front pages all the time is that everyone becomes obsessed with how you look, and that's turned you into this massive style icon.
But I don't think I'm a style icon.
Yes.
Not at all.
Ladies, is she?
Sometimes I just want to rock out in my scruffs and my Uggs, you know? It's like...
Your scruffs and your Uggs?
Yeah.
What are scruffs?
You know, like your old tracksuit that feels really comfortable and maybe have a bit of ketchup on there and...
Something inside me is dying here. Can you not...
I'm sorry.
Can we not kill the dream?
I'm sorry.
I read that you spend £250,000 a year on clothing. And I note no immediate denial.
I mean, to me, that just seems so ridiculous. It doesn't even justify an answer.
Ridiculous, but is it untrue?
So, 200... I mean, I don't know where these people think I find the time to spend £250,000. It takes a pretty long time to spend that amount of money.
When I went in your dressing room earlier, there was one of the greatest glam entourages I think I've ever seen. Well, literally, it was spilling out of every corner.
Right.
Preparing every tiny molecule of this...
Right. Piers, is that a slight exaggeration?
Maybe. How big is the Cheryl Glam Squad?
Do you know, it's funny you should say that, because most people I meet say to me I've got the smallest team they know.
No, I have. And it shows, I know. When you pick up a newspaper and you've not been looking your perfect best, do you feel, again, that particular pressure that female stars feel?
Oh, I feel pressure. Too, right? Yeah, of course.
So I remember working with Amanda Holden on Britain's Got Talent when Kelly Brook got signed, and she went into a kind of meltdown for 3 days because we'd walk out and she'd have to face the press every day with Kelly coming out looking like a supermodel.
I think that's really sad, actually, that people pit women against each other like that. Because Amanda is beautiful in her own way, but she might not have Amanda's brains.
No, she hasn't. No offence.
Women have a hard time of it because they're compared to each other. It's not always about what shoes you got on or what dress or how much your dress was. That's just irritating.
You were once crowned most attractive girl at Gateshead's Metro Centre.
Woo! That's not embarrassing.
Were you proud at the time? Was this a big moment?
Proudest moment in my life.
How do you think your personal style's evolved, though, from the days of the Gateshead Metro tournament? I've seen pictures of you then, and, you know, you were very much a young thing trying to make your way in fashion.
I was a teenager, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was very much a tomboy. And I wasn't surrounded by glamour. I wasn't one of those girls that went out and bought all the magazines off the shelf or anything like that. I just kind of plodded on with my own thing. I used to watch performances and probably try and dress more like a costume than an outfit. You know, more like a pop star.
Who did you like to imitate? Anyone? Was there anyone that inspired you, fashion-wise?
Britney.
Really?
Yeah.
That would explain some of the outfits.
And people like TLC. I thought myself a bit of a hip-hop girl. So I wanted to wear baggy trousers and Timberland boots and...
But that's not where you've got to now, is it? I mean,
I don't think if you asked anybody what they wore when they were 16, they'd be the same now at 27. I would like to not think so.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because we have actually got some photographic evidence to remind you of some of the Cheryl Cole looks over the years. What I want you to do is just tell me which ones you thought worked and which ones... which ones maybe weren't quite so successful. So I think we'll start with the sporty Cheryl look.
It's coming back around, that one. It's the jumpsuit era. We all wore them.
So marks out of 10?
4.
Next is the Vicky Pollard, Cheryl.
Oh, jeez. What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
Marks out of 10?
-1.
Now we're seeing a bit of a transformation here. Now, this is a bit more like it, isn't it?
It's a little bit strange looking back because I know how I felt then and I feel like a different person.
How did you feel then?
Like I was just starting to grow up, if you know what I mean.
Mm. When you look at Cheryl there, do you think you were happier then than you are right now?
In some ways.
What ways?
I don't know, maybe a little bit freer.
Freer?
Just a little bit... Like, it's got to a point where the paparazzi are intimidated. And I got so... associated them so much with pain that now it's not fun like it was then.
They're only after one thing, really, you looking upset. As it goes with the story.
Cheryl Cole, the girl next door who is anything but ordinary.
If I knew what made Cheryl special, I'd literally bottle and sell it.
I just think it's the aura she gives off. I don't know how to explain it.
Cheryl's popularity is off the scale. Everybody loves Cheryl, people of all ages.
Cheryl's just the perfect pop star.
Through sheer grit and determination, Cheryl has become one of the biggest stars in Britain.
From the beginning, she came into this world knowing what she wanted.
She believes she can walk through glass. And you know what? She can.
Do not underestimate Cheryl Cole. She's not stupid. She knows exactly what she's doing. I mean, she has me wrapped round her little finger.
From an early age, it was clear that Cheryl was going places.
The first day I took her to the dancing school, this teacher at the end of the first class came out and said, "You know, she's very special, she's got something special here."
In the last 2 years, the word Cheryl Cole had been mentioned over 18,000 times in British newspapers.
Everyone wants a piece of Cheryl. She's huge.
And it's no wonder. Not only is she one of Girls Aloud, Britain's biggest girl band, she married and then divorced one of the country's most famous footballers.
It's really hard to do normal things like go to the supermarket, you know, go get petrol, go get, you know, a bottle of milk.
On average, there are 25 different stories written about her every day.
I saw Cheryl's collapsed, and I just thought, another story, another rumour. And it wasn't until I got the call that I was like, whoa.
But how many of the things we read about Cheryl can we actually believe?
There's a lot written that is so untrue. It's just so fabricated.
Things have been made up about her all the time in the press, and the amount of attention that she gets is out of control.
All attention for Cheryl Cole is good attention. She don't care. As long as she's in the headlines, it don't matter what they're saying.
Is Pete Waterman right?
Couldn't be more wrong. Because it's not a soap opera, it's my life.
What are the most hurtful things you've had to read about yourself?
In the past, everything used to get to us. Everything. Because it's hard, because people don't really know you. They know what they're being given and the information they're being fed, that's it. It's all they know. So they develop their own perception of who you are, who you must be because of what they read. So it's frustrating because you want to say, no, do you know, I'm not like that. And if I was reading that, I wouldn't like me.
I mean, all this stuff with Gamut, the X Factor contestant,
Yeah.
has turned you from kind of, you know, Mother Teresa to Cruella de Vil. Do you regret not putting Gamut through to your final choice?
It's one of those things where when you're sat there for those 2 days, bearing in mind I hadn't been to boot camp or I hadn't experienced any of that. All I had was the tape and the girl that was in front of us there and then. And it's a lot more than just hearing somebody sing. I have to take these girls and put them on a TV show and create something week on, week out. And that's what I'm looking at, and I'm looking for a twinkle in their eye, or I'm looking for an instinct I feel when I'm with them. You make decisions, and I thought I made the right decision. And I trust that decision, and I believe in my decision, so it's difficult because I also understand that everybody's got an opinion.
Some people tried to suggest that you were being racist.
I can't even justify that with an answer. I mean, I just can't. It's just ridiculous. I can't. It's ridiculous.
Is it hurtful when people do that? Or can you now somehow block it out?
I can now somehow block it out because things have become so stupid. When you need a kicking, you need a kicking, and if sometimes I make a wrong choice or it doesn't go with the grain, then I'll put my hands up and say, OK.
How did you feel on a human level to Gamut, given that she's very young?
Awful, awful, awful.
Have you spoken to her since?
I can't. I don't know what to say. What am I supposed to say? By the way, I'm sorry I didn't take you any further. And I'm sorry now that your life's upside down. What am I supposed to say?
Of all the stories that appear about you, I would guess about 90% are near enough untrue. Here's a chance to put a few things straight. You ready?
I don't know.
Have you or have you not ever had a boob job?
Not.
Really?
Absolutely not. And it's not one of those things that I frown upon or I judge anybody for. If it's something I had done, it's something I'd be quite willing to say I had it done. It's not like a top secret. It's not like I would be the only person that ever had it done. I just haven't had it done.
So are you quite flattered that everyone thinks you have?
Yes. Actually, that's the one room I quite like.
Have you ever had a nose job?
Nose job? Wow. Never even heard that one. Clearly not, by the little conch I have here.
I was going to say, get your money back.
They call...
Everyone's allowed an imperfection. No, yours is your hooter.
They call... Exactly. I quite like the little ridge.
I like
They call it the Tweedy Snack.
A Tweedy Snack?
Yes.
There's
I've got a Tweedy nose.
A Tweedy Snack?
Yeah.
So you'll never get it fixed, you don't think?
Are you suggesting I need to?
No. There's been a suggestion that you already has. I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility.
Wow.
Did you buy a £35,000 wind tunnel to keep fit so that you could be as thin as Danny Minogue?
Wow. That's a good one.
Is it true?
Does it exist?
Do you keep fit in a wind tunnel?
A Piers, is that a serious question?
Yes. Do you ever get into one? I've seen one of these things. You get in them and you get blown away by turrets of wind.
No, absolutely never heard of it.
Do you ever diet or not?
I'm always, like, aware of what I eat. And I have days where I just want to eat what I want to eat. Especially as a woman, you have those days. And then I'm one of those people that'll have burger and chips, and then for the whole of the rest of the day go, wish I'd never ate those burger and chips. Wish I'd never ate those burger... Why did I eat those burger and chips? While I'm eating a packet of crisps.
And you have your crafty fags, don't you? How many do you smoke a day now?
Oh. Naughty me. No.
Come on. How many a day?
Probably about 5, not many. Well, probably 20 today.
You've had a very traumatic year, everybody knows that, for a number of reasons, and everyone's been giving lots of attention to your health. How are you actually feeling physically right now?
It's actually been just over the 12 weeks, so all my blood is new and I feel great.
Are you back to your fighting best, do you think? Are you feeling 100%?
I'm probably feeling 95, and I don't think for a long time I felt 100, so I'm definitely on my way.
People knew that you were sick. Then came the stories about malaria, but no one has ever really worked out the truth about this.
Right.
Now we're going to get the chance.
In July this year, Cheryl took time out from her busy schedule and jetted off for a holiday in Africa with her close friend Derek Hoff.
Cheryl and I decided to go to Tanzania on holiday. It was a fantastic time. We got a few little mosquito bites here and there, but we had taken the tablets and we thought, you know, everything would be okay.
2 weeks later, Cheryl was at the X Factor auditions in Cardiff when she began to feel ill.
We genuinely thought she had a hangover on the day. That's what somebody told us, so we were teasing her all day long. And we didn't think anything about it till the following day when I get a phone call to say that she's collapsed on a photo shoot.
When I arrived at the photo session, I could tell she was so weak, she was grey, and for some strange reason I thought her face looked a bit puffy.
Cheryl was sent home to rest and a doctor was called.
Right before the doctor left, I just kind of had this kind of overwhelming feeling of she needs to get her blood, you know, checked.
He didn't know it yet, but Derek's quick thinking may have saved Cheryl's life.
The couriering of the blood and the alerting of the hospital and the prompt response by the medical team, I think, really was essential.
The doctor said, you know, she needs to come in right now.
Cheryl was in serious trouble and was rushed to intensive care.
Her body had swelled so much. I couldn't see her eyes, they were just like slits. It was a different person.
Tests confirmed doctors' worst fears. Cheryl had malaria.
There are 4 types. She had the worst one, and it's a dangerous, life-threatening type of malaria.
The kidneys weren't working, the lungs were filled with fluid, there was parasites all over in her blood.
Cheryl was told that the next 36 hours would be make or break for her.
She was deteriorating all the time. Her breathing was much worse as time went by, and we thought it was only fair to let everyone know just how seriously ill she was.
I remember Cheryl saying, you know, am I going to die? And I remember the doctor coming up to her and saying, there's a possibility.
I don't know how somebody copes with the fact they might die.
Oh.
I suppose the obvious question is that when the doctor said that to you, that there was a possibility you might die, I mean, what was going through your mind?
I was just so weak and sick. I was actually thinking, if it's going to happen, please just hurry up. I wasn't scared. I was tired. I was exhausted. I'd been sick for a while and I was just over it. I was over feeling so ill.
Did you realise how serious it was?
It was actually day after my birthday. I got the first symptoms, and I'd had 2-3 vodkas the night before, and I never drink. I'm not a drinker. And I just thought, this really affects me. I woke up in the morning and I was putting my moisturiser on, my skin hurt. My skin was sore. And I thought, oh, this is the worst hangover I've ever had. But not for 1 second did malaria cross my mind. Not for 1 second.
Even though you'd just been to Africa?
Not at all.
So you're getting steadily worse. You get to this photo shoot when it gets dramatic suddenly. Talk me through what happened there.
Again, same thing, got up in the morning. My skin was sore to touch. My lips were blue. And I was drenched. And I got to the photo shoot and the girl I work with, who knows me more than anybody, said, this is not right. We need to schedule some time off. I think you're exhausted.
Then what happened?
Sorry. God, I really don't want it to be morbid. I really don't want it to be like this.
But I think people are realising, probably for the first time, how
Right.
serious this was.
It's only 12 weeks ago. It's very raw.
Do you remember the moment when you collapsed?
I'd been really excited to do the photo shoot. It was for Vogue. And they'd flown a photographer in from New York and it dropped him at the wrong airport. This is what I remember specifically. And he'd driven 3 hours to get to the photo shoot. And they were saying to me, go home, and I remember thinking, this poor guy, he's had a terrible time getting here, driven all the way here. I said, just let me lie down for an hour, I'll be okay. And that was it. I was out like a light. I did the photo shoot. And I went home and that was the night. That was the night.
The key moment of that evening was Derek saying you've got to have a blood test. And what has become clear from interviewing your doctor is that if he'd not done that, you may well not have survived. So effectively, Derek saved your life.
Well, absolutely. And I'm a bit pathetic when it comes to needles. Like, I can't it has to be a baby one. And I was actually really angry with him for suggesting that I get my blood taken. Like, you're making me have a needle. Little did I know, he saved my life.
Your mother said in her interview that your organs began to fail. Are you even aware of any of this?
I remember actually feeling like I was dying, if that makes any sense. And I just wanted to know the truth, was I? And out of all that, that's what I remember asking.
It's a cliche, but does your life flash before you in a moment like that? What are you thinking? Your family around you?
It doesn't seem real. It's very, very surreal. And my mother never showed me her emotion there and then. She was strong. And I think there was a point I said to her, what they laugh about now, you make sure you get someone here tomorrow to write my will.
You said that?
Yeah. And I remember thinking to myself, my sister can have that. I know it's like, now looking back, it feels very surreal, but at the time, it seemed like almost matter of fact.
You owe a lot to Derek.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty amazing thing that he did. Just his instinct probably saved your life.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good friend to have.
He's an amazing, amazing person. And I can never repay him for that. That's my life.
Part of your appeal, I'd say, is your ordinariness in many ways. Did you see yourself that way?
I still sometimes feel like I just moved down to London for a bit. It doesn't feel...
You still feel a proper, fully-fledged Geordie?
I am.
You haven't called me pet yet.
I always will. We'll get there, pet.
What I heard about you from your old Newcastle days is that you could be a bit feisty.
Yeah.
Is that an accurate way of describing the young Cheryl?
I think describing me still.
You don't suffer fools. People take you on, you'll fight a corner.
Yeah, of course. That's how I was brought up. That's how I was raised. That's what I was told to do and to be like, and that's how I am.
Have you had many fights?
Couple.
Yeah. Normally win?
I'll give it my best shot.
How many times have you actually, like, clenched your fist and just gone...
To a person? I'd like to do it to you.
You've established that you're feisty, but how have you used that feistiness to get where you are today?
By the time she was 19, Cheryl had already tried her hand at child modelling and ballet dancing in her quest for fame.
Cheryl was such a funny little character. She was singing, dancing, 2-year-old. It was just the next step from where she was going all her life.
When TV talent show Pop Stars The Rivals came to town, Cheryl saw the opportunity she'd really been looking for, to sing.
You're Cheryl.
Yeah.
Tweedy. Where are you from?
Newcastle.
If you watch that first performance, you can tell by her demeanour that she's not taking any prisoners.
Ready? Sometimes it's wrong to walk away.
As far as she was concerned, she was already in the group.
Suddenly the moment's gone, and all your dreams are upside down, and you just want to change the way the world goes round.
There was no question to me that this girl would make it.
Baby, baby, since first we met, I knew...
Cheryl sailed through the elimination shows.
I remember thinking she had such a warm personality, and I think her dimples are so cute that I thought, oh.
Cheryl was first to make it into the band.
Cheryl!
She jumped up like a football hooligan and punched the air and went, yes, come on!
I screamed like a lunatic. You couldn't control. I was up, down, sit down. I couldn't. I was just jumping all over the place.
Girls Aloud were born.
Cheryl is like the older sister I never had, and I'm like the younger sister that she never had. So we have that kind of relationship, which is lovely.
There was one girl in that group that wanted Girls Allowed to succeed more than all the others.
Girls Aloud's first single went straight to the top of the charts. They quickly became the biggest girl band in Britain, and Cheryl in particular proved a big hit with the press. When she hooked up with Premiership footballer Ashley Cole in August 2004, the couple were quickly dubbed the new Posh and Becks. 2 years after their first date, the happy couple married in a lavish ceremony. She wore a £100,000 dress. The Chihuahua Buster wore a matching Diamante suit. It was the relationship that was to define her.
When did you first set eyes on Ashley?
I met him a few times. We lived in the same complex. I knew he played football and that was about it. And he was really shy, painfully shy. And then we exchanged numbers.
I read you wouldn't give him your number for a while. You had to be very persistent and get it through a friend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Where do you go on your first date? Do you remember that?
His house, because we couldn't go, you know, given his status and I was a member of Girls Aloud, it would have just been...
Did he cook for you?
You're joking, aren't you?
What did you get, pizza? I mean, how does this work when you're two massive stars in an apartment?
I think just on the first day, you drink wine.
Just wine. And what did you think of him?
I thought he was great. Sensitive. A good person, just a nice guy.
Well, you told friends that he turned green when he told you he loved you.
I don't know, Piers.
Had you been in love before?
I thought, well, you think so, don't you?
How many times have you thought you're in love?
I feel like I always love the person I'm with then. You know? That's life.
So how many?
What are you asking specifically here?
I'm just curious. I'm curious as to how many times you've been in love. It's not the Spanish Inquisition. It's just like, you know.
Feels like it. How many times have you been in love?
Well, I'll tell you if you tell me. You loved Ashley?
Of course.
You've said since that you'd never been in a relationship where you'd been treated so like a princess. Is that accurate? Is that what you really felt about it?
Yeah, of course. Like there wasn't any worries. Like, we were meant for each other.
Why did you think he was the one?
God. Piers. Do you really want to know all this stuff?
I really want to know.
Why?
I just don't think somebody like you would fall in love and marry a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
That's accurate. And, you know, apart from the obvious, he never tried his bad. He's not a bad... Yeah. Why the GS? What is this about?
Well, it's personal for you, isn't it? I know that. And you don't normally talk about this kind of thing. And it's, you know, it was the defining relationship of your life so far.
And do you know what it is for me? It's not me past. It's very much me present. I'm still a person. I'm still getting divorced. I'm still... It hurts. It's embarrassing. It's life.
Do you still love him?
There's part of us I'll always love him, of course. It's a big part of my life.
And I love his family. And I love what we had.
When you got married, can you remember how you felt that day?
Euphoric, like it was the happiest day of my life. Calm. Happy.
And did you absolutely believe then that this would last forever?
I would never have took my vows if I didn't. It's not a joke. It's not something you go into lightheartedly. And it's not something you go into thinking, if I feel differently later, it doesn't matter.
For you, the vows were very important.
Yeah. It's just a chapter in my life that I don't want to feel miserable about it or unhappy.
But even though you're now divorced, can you get any happy memory from the marriage?
I feel numb. It's my reality. To other people, it's their entertainment. I don't want to cry. Let's talk about happy things.
It's not, obviously, this is not a happy period that I'm discussing now. No. When did you realise that the marriage wasn't working? Was there any sense of it not working before?
Not at all.
So until then, you thought you were very happily married?
Complete and utter happiness.
And total trust in Ashley?
More than ever.
You enjoyed married life? You were...
I enjoy the stability of having, amongst all the madness, that one person that is there throughout. And is very normal and calm and not an inkling.
I've got to ask you about this, and I know you're not going to find this comfortable. Do you remember where you were when you first heard the allegations that Amy Walton was making, that Ashley had cheated on you with her?
Yes. At home.
And how did you hear?
From a phone call.
From Ashley?
No. You know, it's funny because hearing you back now, it's like a, you know, I'm saying things I've never heard myself say.
What do you want to say about it?
I'm not here to expose anything or talk about those feelings other than to say I was just a heartbroken girl. I wasn't a footballer's wife in an ivory tower and with all the lovely things, and so it'll be fine.
I'm not going to go into the details of all this because I can see you don't want to talk about this. Other than to say that obviously you took him back and then further revelations came out involving other women, which for you were clearly the final blow to the marriage.
I don't really want to say anything other than anybody that's been through a divorce knows it's one of the toughest things that you could go through. And on such a public scale, and not being able to have the privacy you need to deal with those feelings is really, really hard.
Is that one of those times when you just wish you were anonymous?
Yes.
You weren't Cheryl Cole, you were just...
You just want to go home to Newcastle. Hate.
Do you still speak to Ashley at all?
Yeah.
Often? You have regular conversations? Or?
I hope one day that we can be friends.
just have to get through the obstacles.
Do you think he still wants you back?
I don't think he ever wanted to let her go. We had a great relationship. Don't get it. Do not get it. Don't get it. Be best friend. God, this is turning into therapy.
Do you feel any better for talking about it? Does it help?
Ask us in a couple of hours.
You've had a tough time of it, but one thing you are, Cheryl, is a fighter.
Cheryl's been an X Factor favourite now for over 2 years.
She's got a great heart, Cheryl. That's why people like her.
I think the industry's missing a boy band. You're cute, you're really cute.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think I remember just thinking you was made for this job.
Feels allowed?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yes.
It's all in her eyes. You watch Cheryl Cole's eyes during an audition, you can see the way that she's feeling, and that's what makes her unique. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Throughout her time on the show, she's lived her private life in public.
Cheryl's a fighter, clear as day. I mean, what she does, she's been through a lot. She fights through it, and she doesn't give in.
I personally think part of her popularity is the fact that she wears her heart on her sleeve.
To be crushed again. I can't imagine how he must be feeling, because I reckon this was his last shot.
Anyone can relate to what she went through, but she doesn't hide it. When she's sad, she shows she's sad. When she's happy, she shows she's happy. But she also knows that other people have gone through what she's gone through, so she's not living in some weird fairy tale world. You know, she's a realist. She's not somebody who feels sorry for herself.
So when Cheryl released her debut single, Fight for This Love, it was a real statement of intent.
She wanted to get her message across, and she did.
She really sang that song from her heart. She was going through trouble with her, personal relationship.
Cheryl's single, Promise This, marks a new chapter in her life. So what does the future hold for one of Britain's most desirable women?
I think I'd just like to see Cheryl with somebody who would bring out all the best qualities in her.
I hope she falls in love again.
There's speculation whether or not she's found it now. If she has, I'm really pleased for her.
I'm sure, it'll come a time that she'll find love again. And she will blossom even more than she is now.
The main thing I want for her is to be happy. That's all I want for her, and that's all I think anybody wants for somebody that they care about.
Music is obviously massively important to you.
My whole life, I've used music. That's why it feels like you're in such a unique position to be able to do that to somebody else. And I hear stories all the time. I just did a book signing the other week, and every single person that came to us had something to say about how my music or my songs had touched their lives, and that's a pretty incredible position to be in. And to think that I feel a certain way about music and that I can make somebody feel like that is the best feeling in the world.
It was interesting watching your reaction to Simon Cowell talking about you, because you kept nodding.
Simon is one of the most important people in my life. One, he changed my life when he invited us onto the X Factor. But most importantly, he gets it. He gets me like nobody else, and I've never met anybody like that before.
What does he get?
How quick my thoughts go, and he can just stop and process them. It's really bizarre. We've got a really... It's kind of uncanny how similar we are. And that scares me to say out loud.
Everybody interviewed in that last video just wants you to be happy. Do you think you can be quite quickly? Do you think you can move on?
I think I can definitely move on. And I think this is going to be a big milestone for me, and it's going to be a point where I've said it now, and I'm ready to get back to myself.
And in his most revealing interview ever, rock legend Rod Stewart talks to Piers Morgan about the women in his life, his battle with cancer, and how he feels about becoming a dad, age 65. That's Life Stories next Sunday night at 9:45.